Good afternoon and welcome back to the Signature Chef of Orlando. You are in the banquet kitchens of the big JW Marriott Orlando Hotel in Florida. My name is Stephane Cheramy. I've been working with this hotel for 7 years now, but I've been in the United States for 14. I started for the opening of the Bellagio in Las Vegas, and then moved to Florida for the Ritz-Carlton and the JW Marriott. So today I wanted to show you how we do a key lime tart for the banquet functions. And first, I wanted to show you the key lime mix. Then after, I will show you how to make the Margarita Sorbet, and then the lime macaroons, and then we'll put the plate together. So the key lime mix is very easy. As long as you stay clean and you control your elements. So one thing that could go wrong here is that if we were to mix the acid with the yolks, then we'll have a very big chance of having lumps. So first we're gonna mix the juice with the condensed milk. And then after that, we will add the yolks. And then I like to use a beer mixer so that the mix is very smooth. But we have to make sure we don't incorporate too much air, because we want the key lime pie mix to be very creamy. And when we want to bake it, we want something that's very smooth. Very good. I also added a little bit of lime juice in the, of lime zest in the juice, because the best of the flavor is in the oil of the skin. And then next, instead of the traditional graham cracker crust, I baked some almond dough, and then I put aluminum foil on the bottom so that the mix doesn't leak. And then I greased a little bit the sides, and then it's better usually to wait for the mix to rest a little bit. I think it would be best to make the mix the day before, just so that all the air disappear. And then you just pour the mix in the ring. You have to make sure it's all filled the same level, otherwise some will bake more than others. And then I will bake it in the oven for 15 to 20 minutes at 250 degrees. But it really depends on your oven. What you want to do is just like a crème brûlée, you want the yolk to make the filling stick together, but you don't want any ebullitions, otherwise the texture wouldn't be right. So next, we are making the sorbet. So first I put the sugar, granulated sugar. And then after I put my stabilizer, because I know that if I put the stabilizer directly in the water, it's gonna be lumpy because it's a little bit of a gelatin. And then I put the milk powder. And then the powder glucose. It doesn't separate in the freezer. So now I'm adding the water. So it's best for a sorbet to use bottled water. So now it's mixed well. I'm gonna give it an ebullition. But we wanna make sure we don't boil it too much, because then the water will evaporate and the recipe will be imbalanced. So this is a Margarita Sorbet. So what it is we're making a syrup, and then we're adding lime juice and tequila. So for ice cream, you want to let the mix mature for 24 hours. So once the syrup is boiled, then I'm going to add the rest of the ingredients. And then after, you should strain it and then put it on ice to cool it down right away. And then you'll put it in a cooler for 6 hours. And then after, you run it in the sorbet machine. While we're waiting for the syrup to boil, we're going to start to make the macaron. So this macaron is the traditional French macaron. And in this particular recipe, we are using an Italian meringue just so that the macaron is a little bit stronger and we can keep it in the freezer if we need to. So we have the water and the sugar that we're going to cook to make an Italian meringue. So it's very important when you cook a sugar that your pan is very clean and that your sugar is very clean too, otherwise it will crystallize. So with the egg whites and the sugar, we will make a meringue. And then with the sifted almond flour and powdered sugar, we will make a paste with the rest of the egg whites. So it is very important that you mix the paste as soon as you put the egg white. Otherwise, the almond flour will absorb the liquid and then the mix will be difficult to do. So the syrup is ready now. So I'm going to start the other syrup for the Italian meringue. And then I'm putting my juice here. So again, in the key lime pie filling, sometimes you will see green color, which is not unnatural. It's the same for the sorbet. So there's not too much color to it, and so people would have a tendency to add food coloring to it, which is not always a natural thing. So I prefer to keep it natural. So again, you would have to strain it now and then put it on ice and keep it in a cooler for 6 hours. So that sorbet is ready. So now we're cooking the sugar. If you keep mixing it, you will crystallize, and that's how you make fondant too. So I have my egg whites. Again, clean bowl, no egg yolks, because the egg yolks will stop the egg white from whipping up correctly. If you have a hard time with your egg whites whipping up correctly, you can also add a little bit of egg white powder to help. While we're waiting for the sugar, I wanted to show you the rest of the components that I brought with me. So here we have fried spaghetti. Those are patachoux that we roll in balls and we fry it, so we call them churros. This is the lime macaron. That's the lime milk foam that we dehydrated. And that's orange curd for the sauce. This is grapefruit and tequila jelly. And then orange segments here, and then some fresh flowers, and then the key lime pie that are baked. And we cut it in half because we think that just half of a piece is sufficient. And then the margarita sorbet. Sugar could take forever to get to the right temperature and suddenly go very fast. That's it. So we have the bowl now, so we're good. So, and my egg whites are foamy. Just want to whip them a little bit more. Here, we're good. And then we're going to pour the sugar on the side. We want to make sure we don't touch the whisk, because if we touch the whisk, then we will do cotton candy. And we don't want to add the sugar too fast too. And because it's a small quantity, I'm just raising the bowl a little bit just to make sure it's touching the bottom. So here again, I just want to add a little bit of meringue at a time, just so that I don't have any lumps. So in this case, we don't want volume, so it doesn't matter if you fold it and you reduce the volume of the meringue. Actually, it's better. So you don't have to be gentle when you mix in this. So it's nice to use a rubber spatula because you can scrape the bowl very well. There we go. So now I can add the rest. So you always want to follow the golden rule, which is always put the soft into the hard. So you don't want to put, for example, the paste into the meringue because the paste is harder than the meringue. You want to do the opposite. So when I mix, I'll make sure I scrape everywhere so there's no lumps, and also I beat it a little bit. Otherwise, when we're gonna pipe it, it's gonna make little peaks. So it makes a ribbon here, so we're good. So when you fill your bag, you wanna make sure you don't fill it too much, because otherwise it's gonna be very difficult to handle. And then you're gonna have leaks everywhere. You're gonna make a mess. So I just put a little bit. And see, I make sure there's no mix on the top of the bag so that when I twist it like this, I don't have any mix coming out from the wrong end. And then with my fingers, I keep it tight here. And then when I pipe, I want to make sure I pipe straight like this. And then not piping too close, otherwise they're gonna touch. And then try to make the same round, same amount, so you don't have all different sizes. Good. So see, they are smooth on the top, there's no peaks, and then we can put them in the oven right away. So 310. This ones will be 11 minutes with the oven a little bit open. But don't mess with the oven. Once you put them in it, don't open it, don't close it. Just leave it like this. So first, I put a little bit of the sauce. Then the tart. So see, you want to make sure the tart is cooked not too much, so that it's very creamy like this. So if it starts to boil, take it out of the oven and then put it back on when the oven is cooler. I think 250 is a safe temperature. And you know when it's baked, when you touch with your finger and then it doesn't stick. So the next, I put the lime macaron. So to make it green like this, I just put a little bit of lime zest. Then I put the meringue. Churros. So, to make a quenelle of sorbet, I just warm the spoon, either with hot water or in this case with the fire. This. So the oranges with a little bit of honey on it, just to help the flavor. Then a little bit of the jelly. So I have two kinds here really. This is the limoncello jelly. So it's not too strong. You see, it jiggles a lot, so that you don't feel like you're eating rubber. And then the spaghetti. Voilà. Little flour. Finished. Thank you.